Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new podcast called the Talk Hour Podcast. This podcast is going to have Human, which is me, and then my friend Pancake. We're going to be talking about just whatever subject we want. And yeah, so let's get into today's subject, which is war in Ukraine. I'm going to have pass it over to Pancake to talk about how this war actually started.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So this war basically started because Ukraine wanted to join the European alliance, and as well as Putin is an interesting guy to say the least. Uh, he's how do you want to describe him? Like a dictator?
Yeah,
He's
he's not a good
yeah,
person.
yeah. So as well as just tensions overall were just not great, and then it started with them pushing thousands of troops to the border. And this led to, of course, the invasion that we're seeing today.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Russia is just sending all of its troops because they really want Ukraine really badly. They want to take control and like make sure that they're in charge of Ukraine and like make sure that everything goes around over there.
But that the opposite effect happened. It's not going well for Russian forces as of now.
They originally Russia thought that they were going to immediately like take over
Yeah,
Ukraine.
within like hours, I
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
they
they
thought.
did. And even though the war is actually still going on, like Ukraine is holding, and
Hmm.
Russia is like having to fight hard, but Ukraine is able to hold.
Yeah, I think it's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's been like a long war because yeah, I don't know why, but Russia thought they would just be able to immediately like plow through.
Well, yeah, see, the Russians have overwhelming manpower in their military, but these troops don't really want to fight the war, as well as their training is some of their training is a little iffy. You know what I mean?
Mhm. But yeah, this
And
actually
then yeah,
yeah,
hold
but
up.
originally on this like what they're doing, Russia was just like near the Ukraine borders and just like doing like quote unquote exercise practices or whatever. But then they
Yeah,
just immediately started going after Ukraine. And Ukraine didn't like realize this was happening until like right before it happened. So,
yeah, and then as well as what was I gonna say? Oh, so the war. Part of the reason this war isn't going well for Russia is because the Ukrainians are using guerrilla fighter tactics.
mhm.
And this, if you don't know what that means for any folks out there, it means like they hide, ambush, bomb, and they don't use like their main military force. They use small groups of fighting fast. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, and speaking, I want to actually go into like a very cool subject. I think is the Ghost of Kiev. You know, can you elaborate on that,
Hmm.
Pancake?
Yeah, so I don't know the exact kill count or that the Ghost of Kiev has, but I know it's a lot at
Yeah.
some point.
Because
Hold up,
the
let me
Ghost of
look.
Kiev is a it's just a Ukrainian pilot that was able to take out like it's obviously in Kiev down right down here. Um and he was just able to take out a ton of Russian air forces by himself with like nobody helping him, which is very cool. It's like
Yeah,
able
so
he's like
I
able to
believe
hold off a lot.
he has like six kills confirmed, I believe, but that might be from a few days ago.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
think that
he's been doing a
yeah.
lot since. Yeah, he's been doing really good with what he's been doing. He's been able to take out a ton and just be able to protect Kiev basically.
Yeah, so I think this is one of the main reasons why Russia can't take air superiority over Kyiv and Ukraine itself.
Because they have because Ukraine has like very strong. They know what they're doing. Like that's why they made able to hold off so long because of their military and how good they've been able to do against Russia. Because Russia, while Russia has like a ton, they just thought their mindset was that they would immediately win. So and because they didn't realize that they would have to actually like fight as hard as they could. So they just put out all their troops and thought they were going to immediately win, but Ukraine was able to hold off with their good military and like got able to have people like the Ghost of Kiev with like amazing like just amazing like pilot, and they were able to like have air superiority and like take superiority back.
Yeah,
immediately.
so and then at one point, I'd like to add that people thought I think the Ghost of Kiev got shot down, and people thought he or she was dead. I don't think we know the gender,
Yeah,
but
but they were able to. Yeah, I heard that they were able to get a new. They found them, and then they were able to get a new not pilot, just
Jet.
yeah, jet already, and they were immediately gonna get he or she back in the air.
Yeah, yeah, which is very good, very good.
Yeah, which is
As well
good.
as I'd like to add like another topic. American civilians have are going to Ukraine that want to fight as well to join the foreign legions.
Yeah,
hmm
cause yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
See, like I think they're just like I think civilians, like our civilians, not our military, because that's against rules of war, I guess. But our civilians are going over there and contacting the Ukrainian embassy, and they're joining Ukrainian fighting forces on the front line.
Which is good. We like Ukraine. Yeah, like I said, like I've already said before, but Ukraine is it's good that they're holding off because if they weren't able to hold off immediately, then who knows what
hmm
Russia could have done to like other countries. Like, cause I think that what would have happened if Russia was able to take control of Ukraine immediately, like they thought they would have, they might have like tried to taken over like other maybe even smaller countries just to take more and more land constantly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, they try to take some of the Balkan states along with Ukraine if they were able to.
But yeah, but they're
And
having to fight a
yeah.
ton.
Yeah, part of the reason this is because maybe part of the reason, even our President Biden talks about this, is that Russia might want to reunite the former Soviet Union that
Yeah.
we all despise, to say the
Yeah,
least.
basically. They're trying to like
hmm
reunite it and like get all the countries back and like take their land back because they got a lot of it taken away. So
Yeah,
just trying to get it back.
And Ukraine could arguably be like the strongest Balkan state. It's definitely the largest. So if they're able to take Ukraine, they're probably able to take any of the other Balkan states. But like I said, the invasion has not gone in their favor.
Yeah, which is good. It's good. Yeah, it's good that Ukraine because Ukraine was going to be the domino effect that started it all, I think. Because it's good that Ukraine was able to hold off because once they take Ukraine, they're going to try to like he said, reunite was what has already happened, which is not good. We do not
Yeah.
want that. Yeah, because
So
you could see in the bottom right here, like Russia's giant compared to Ukraine. But even though with all of its military and all of its people, it's still able to, or Ukraine's able to still hold off against all of this because they're using guerrilla warfare tactics and they have an amazing military, which is very good for us.
yeah, and then we can also look at the Russian strikes on civilians in Ukraine.
hmm
Um which is not good at all. Like that's against the rules of war, and which is a war crime actually. But Russia denies hitting civilian cities at all.
Yeah, they're
And
just
as of now, yeah, the Russians have airstriked Ukrainian bases near Poland, and 35 have already been killed by these. This is recent today.
hmm Yeah, because Russia's just doing whatever they like want to do, which is not good. Like I don't even know if they've have actually have like personally declared war, but we already know that is truly happening in Ukraine right now, and they're just going against all rules and just trying to take back Ukraine with whatever rules that they make up, which is not good.
Yeah, so there was a news from a day or two ago as well that Russia is purposely blaming like for future uses of chemical weapons on Ukraine.
hmm
And this makes people to believe that Russia is going to start using chemical weapons on Ukrainian civilians and military bases.
Yeah, I think they might because they're like what they've been doing is not playing against any of like the rules that have already been set. They're just doing whatever they want, and I don't know, but they might if they don't win this war eventually, which I hope they don't. They might use nuclear weapons, which would not that's like a big if statement. But if they do, then that would lead to total chaos, which is not okay.
Yeah. So if we going back to the nuclear weapon statement, human, Russia, well, they used to be the Soviet Union stockpile, but Russia has around 7,000 nukes ready, which is the most that any other nation has, including more than the United States. by like a couple hundred. I
Mm.
believe like 200.
Yeah, but it's very
So they
close.
definitely have the nukes to take out Ukraine and any other country if they wanted to.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they started nukes, which is why I said it's a big if statement, if they started the nukes, then it would just be like total chaos, and it's either what would happen is people like I think maybe China or some or people like that would join Russia, which is not good, but they might like oppose it like the U.S. would.
Well, here's the thing: the China statement that you mentioned is weird because China doesn't really back what's happening right now.
Hmm.
If you going back to the votes, I think China did not want to vote because there was three options for the voting, like condemning Russia, abstaining, which is not voting, and then like backing Russia on their invasion. And China chose not to vote, and
Okay.
they didn't vote yes either. So I think they're holding neutral ground here
Yeah, yeah,
because
I just
yeah.
not know what they're doing, and like they don't know what they want to do or like what's happening truly, so they might want to like get more information or something like that.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. I think my theory on this is they see what's happened with the economic sanctions on Russia,
Hmm.
and I don't think China wants any bit of it because we are the reason their economy is second in the world.
Yeah, actually talking about economy, the Russia economy has actually been terrible recently because of this war. Like they're
Yeah, I believe a Clash Royale gem is worth more.
yeah, I think believe it or not, I think it is than Russian dollar because
Yeah,
their
a
economy is doing
Roebuck might
terrible.
be worth more.
Like all of their economy is just going down like rapidly because of the war in Ukraine. If they wouldn't have done this, then their economy would have like stayed or maybe even grew from where it is. But yeah, this
Yeah.
war just stopped it all and made it to where their economy's terrible and like I think the people hate it in Russia.
Well, yeah, see, if going back to the economy situation in Russia, so credit card companies and other like banks have closed out Russia. Like Russia was closed from the SWIFT banking system, which is like I believe it's European or something like that. They were closed from it, and now a lot of credit cards and debit cards don't work in Russia, and people are resorting to cash, but that's not working either because one Russian dollar is worth less than a penny, an American penny.
Hmm.
So even with their one form of currency now, it's still not working out for them.
Yeah, like cause yeah, like going back to yeah, but going back to the economy, like we're talking about, yeah, it's not okay because the Russian people aren't able to do anything because of how low the economy is, and these companies like credit card and debit card companies or whatever are closing out from Russia, so Russia's just losing all of its like economy from everywhere around the world, and they're not like I don't
Yeah.
even know, but I don't think they're getting like traded with at all. You could talk about that, but I don't pancake, but I don't know.
So the trading system, a lot of countries have cut um, exports from them as well as sending imports. But our country, America, has personally not really cut any trading other than oil.
Yeah.
But I think Congress is trying to work that out right now. But you know how the political situation is in America right now. We can't agree on anything.
Yeah, oil is a big thing because like U.S. just loves oil. They need they need oil from everywhere around the world, so they'll try to get it any way they can.
Well,
But
this is also a really interesting situation because Russia, I believe, we were getting most of our oil from, and Europe was getting most of its oil from Russia.
yeah, so it's an interesting like thing what's going
Yeah.
on because they need it, but they also Russia's doing the war in Ukraine, which is not okay. And like
Well,
it's
we
never
have
well.
federal reserves, but like I think we have a plan to distribute it around the world with other countries to back what's happening with the oil crisis. And also, I have another thing to add with the situation on how it's affecting America is that gas prices. We have to look at that.
Yeah, the gas prices are going up in America. Like they're going up like by dollar amounts, which is not that good, but it is happening. Like all in the U.S. from California all the way up to New York.
We'll
Their
see
gas prices are
the
changing.
demo. Well, the I mean the southern states also like the Republican states. The gas prices have risen, but like not as much as the Democratic states or the West Coast. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the West Coast has almost risen by like $2 on gas prices, and I think the red states have risen by like $1 or $1.50. So I think gas in the southern states is a little bit cheaper.
But yeah, even if it is still rising, like at least everywhere in the U.S. it has risen by about like a dollar or more, obviously, and it's
Hmm.
just people are having
Yeah, it
to
just
start
depends on
paying.
the state.
Yeah, it really does. It depends on what color state it is and like where it is in the U.S.
Hmm.
Because yeah, Russia was a big oil factor in the U.S. But I don't know what they're doing with the trade situation. They don't know if they're gonna cut it or because of the war or they're not gonna do anything.
Well, see, so Russian oil companies in America, looking at the American stock market, the Russian oil companies are not doing so well, while American oil companies are skyrocketing because now obviously people are going to buy from the American oil companies because everybody's sanctioning the Russian ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
like
this is part of the reason why oil is skyrocketing because American oil companies could charge more, as well as America. We all know our government wants to buy oil, so I think our government takes a lot of petroleum from the public as well.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so
gas prices are
it's just
rising.
a weird situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't even know if the U.S. like anything knows the government or anything knows what to do with Russia because yeah they're a big relying factor of oil but yeah like he was saying about the US oil companies they're getting a ton of money right now because of the fact that Russia was a big factor they're able to sell at like a good price so they're able to make a lot of money from that even though the gas prices are rising a ton they're able to make a lot of money from that.
Yeah. And talking about the stock market is not doing well today. It's in the negatives, and the one like I'm looking at like the phone companies, like they're about to hit the negatives as well.
Yeah, and
They're in the green, but they're going down slowly.
mhm. And I think like
And then
Russia might be
yeah.
a factor of that because of the fact that I don't know, but I don't know about like the companies here, but Russian companies are going down terribly because they're going bankrupt because of how low the economy is in Russia because of the war, and they just don't know what to do, but they don't know how to like back it up or anything, because their Russian dollar is
Yeah.
like less than a penny in the United States right now.
Yeah, so a lot of even American oil companies are going down. Some of them are doing well. I think it's also just because of our capitalistic society and the way that we compete with other companies. So
Hmm.
that just excludes a lot of American oil companies as well. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But a lot of these foreign oil companies are in the negatives as well, and they've stayed in the negatives for about 2 weeks
But yeah,
since the Russian invasion.
but I think that the U.S. might be looking for like other oil companies around the world other than Russia because we do need oil because of how high the gas prices are now
Yeah,
because Russia is a
so.
big exporter and importer.
So yeah, looking at that, I think some other countries have oil, and I think we're looking to buy those and spread those amongst our allies as well.
Yeah, because
But
we
I'd
do
like
need
to
oil.
touch on something as well, like as well as foreign affairs. Germany. I'd like to touch on Germany real quick. Germany is now sending weapons to the Ukrainians, but before they were stalling to do it because Germany actually gets most of its oil from Russia as well.
Yeah,
And
it
they
seems
were
like
actually
everywhere
building,
around the
yeah.
world. Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
everywhere around the world people need the Russian oil. But yeah, I guess Germany needs to do something. So yeah, Germany is
Well, no,
sending weapons
Germany
to
like
Ukraine.
heavily like rely like America, we don't rely on Russian oil as much as everybody else does because we buy from a lot of
Yeah, we buy all around
vendors.
the world. Yeah.
Yeah, but Germany got like I believe like 60% of its oil from Russia, and they were building a pipeline actually of oil to
Yeah.
Germany from Russia.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy
now
because they
they've
do need that.
halted it.
But yeah, it's not that good though because yeah, Germany was a big like they relied on Russian oil a lot but now because of the fact that they're sending weapons to Ukraine, they're not able to get any oil from Russia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and then Looking at like other Balkan states, I've seen that they've been sending weapons to Ukraine as well, showing that they are fearful of losing their independence from Russia as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's good that Ukraine is able to like get the weapons from around the world because they do need to hold off Russia because, like I said before, it's just a domino effect. As soon as Ukraine is able to be taken over by Russia because of how big of a country they are, but you could see as if especially if they gain Ukraine, they'll try to just reunite what's already happened, like I've already said, and they'll try to get whatever they can in order to reunite the Soviet Union.
Yeah, and I'd like to touch on how this invasion doesn't really make any sense for Russia either. If they want to play the card and say that they're scared of NATO and they're taking Ukraine because they want to join NATO and they're scared of NATO countries bordering them, if they take Ukraine, more NATO countries will border them
Mm-hmm.
if they have Ukraine as a territory. So that it doesn't even make sense on Russia's part
Yeah,
to say
exactly.
this.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense what Russia's doing because like and all like things like the borders, the economy, the trade, like
Mhm.
Russia's not getting their economy. It's just not doing good because of how the fact that it's they're getting blocked off by every country in the world. It's just it doesn't make any sense why they would start this war in the first place because it's just not helping them like whatsoever in any part.
Well, I think for a long time they've wanted to retake Ukraine because even before Russian forces started fighting and invading, the Ukrainian Russian war was already underway. Of course, with not Russian troops, but Russian like backed separatists or rebels, however you want to look at them. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Russia was already arming people that wanted to fight with Ukraine. So Ukraine has been fighting a war for a long time already.
Yeah, because yeah, Russia's been like preparing as much as they could because I think if we would have looked at it more, then it would have been obvious that Russia was being preparing to take Ukraine like over the before following the weeks that came before the war, like they were trying to prepare for trying to take over and trying to like they're just trying to prepare for like domination basically.
Yeah, and then they took Crimea. I think I'm pronouncing that right. My bad to anybody who pronounces it different. But they took that in 2014 as well. So it shows Russia's ambition to take Ukraine
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, they're trying to take out everything. Like as
Hmm.
you can see at the bottom left, they're trying to go everywhere around Ukraine just to immediately take it over. Like they're around Kiev, they're putting troops just to make sure that they get it because Kiev is the capital, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
But luckily, like I said before, Russia is holding off. I mean, not Russia. Ukraine is holding off. Through the fact that like their military is good, and also just the fact that weapons are being sent to them through all around the world by like one of them big factory like you've already said, Pancake is Germany.
Yeah, see, so for the past like decade, Russia's economy has not been like it hasn't done well, you know what I mean? It's never really recovered from its days from the Soviet Union. Um, as well as China surpassed them as number two, you know what I mean, after a
Yeah.
while, and other countries. So they just fallen off like the global leaderboard for almost everything. You know what I mean?
hmm Like on all aspects, like they're not they're more less and less becoming like a good like a overall good country as just like a society, I guess. But
Hmm.
because of the fact that like I said before, it just doesn't make sense that this war would start because they're already falling, and this Ukraine war already like fell more because of the fact that they can't do anything with trade anymore. A lot of countries are blocking it off. Their economy is doing terrible. Like they're not able to sell oil to anybody. Well, mostly anybody, but we've talked about that.
Hmm. And then I think that when they took Crimea in 2014, it was because they actually were struggling economically to get ships out because every other sea that they border, it'd be hard to ship things in the winter because the it would freeze. You know what I mean?
hmm
So they took Crimea because it was like the only port to the Black Sea to trade with Turkey and some other European countries. So they took it for economic reasons and maybe even to cripple Ukraine's economy. But since 2014, they've actually Ukraine has actually been a stronger military.
hmm Yeah, and
Mm,
actually, I want to touch on like a whole nother subject. Well, it's a part of this because China and Taiwan, because
mhm.
the fact that this war is like making it to where everybody's focusing on the war in Ukraine and Russia, but I don't know, like China and Taiwan haven't had a good relationship ever basically because China recognizes Taiwan as a part of it, and
Mhm.
even though Taiwan wants to be its own independent country, so.
Well, yeah, it's just a weird situation because the Chinese communists won the Civil War in, I believe, 1949,
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
And the capitalistic Chinese government went to Taiwan. So some people argue that Taiwan is like the true Chinese government. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So, and I think China's trying to expand its influence as well.
Yeah, because no, but what I was saying is like how if Russia continues this war on Ukraine, which I think they probably are, until they take it over, which may be a long time because of how much Ukraine is holding off, China might want to just take back Taiwan through maybe like war and like just start that so that. And I think they might be hoping that people focus on the war in Ukraine rather than focusing on China and like what China is doing, you know?
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. Some people think that China might lead its aggression and increase it against Taiwan, while others, including me, in fact, I think China might, I think is and might back down from Taiwan because of what's happening. This is just my opinion, of course. I'm not China. I'm not the Communist Party by any way. But I think from my perspective, China will back off from Taiwan because of this war, because they've seen the economic sanctions and they see that the US won't play around with dictatorships and other aggression towards democracies and allied countries. So I think that China is going to back off from Taiwan for a while until all of this blows over. But
Yeah.
like you said, that there is a chance the aggression could start.
Yeah, it might start if anything because of the fact that this is going on. But if I think yeah, if they're going to want to take Taiwan, which I think they've been like preparing if they want to take Taiwan for war or anything like along those lines, they might been wanting to take it back, not back, but just take it and yeah, but Taiwan has been doing good recently, like with their economy and everything. So I don't know if they would want to do that because we've seen what has happened to Russia and their economy after they started a war in Ukraine, which just
I
shows that
mean,
like.
tensions with China. Yeah, no, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just want to add one thing real quick. Tensions have been rising with China, like the Russian stuff was, because not not like, so you know how there was a buildup on the Ukrainian border of Russian troops.
Mm-hmm,
Well, constantly Chinese naval and warships are, and even jets are violating Taiwanese airspace constantly. You know what I mean? So it's just like you could argue that there is a buildup against Taiwan as well.
mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. Like now that I'm thinking that, I don't know if they would want to do that because, like I just said, the economy that what happened with Russia and Ukraine, if China decides to take Taiwan or any other country around them, their economy is just gonna fall because they have been growing recently, I believe, which is good for any country. That you always want your economy to grow, but if it falls like how it did with Russia, then nothing's good. Like because of how Russia happened with all companies are blocking off from that trade routes and like oil and everything like that.
Yeah, well, see, if China like starts a war, you know what I mean? Their economy will hit the dumps almost instantly because the only reason, like I said, they're a global leader and they're second is because of American companies, because we outsource workers in China because they work for cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why everything is made in China. It's everything is made in China, but it's made by American companies most of the time. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's only for workers. So if war were to start, American companies would leave China almost instantly, and it would put a major unemployment rate on China, as well as it just cripple their industrial capacity as well.
Because as soon as if the war even starts ever, then yeah, they'll just lose their economy because American companies won't want to work there anymore. They nothing like less things will be made in China, and their economy will fall, and all that will happen is the same thing that happened with Ukraine and Russia, which is not good.
Yeah, and people argue that we need China, and I respond to that, like I said, that it's American companies that make everything. That's what people don't realize. Although it's made in China, it's American companies making it,
Hmm.
as well as America is able to make its own things. The only reason we're in China is because they work cheap. Like if we can America, we don't need China. It's just cheaper to work in China. Like things we'll have like the same things that we'll have, it'll just be more expensive because obviously American workers want to be paid more.
Yeah. It's all the fact like where it is because like in China it's made by American companies like you said, but yeah, China's able to work for as cheap as possible and like whatever amount, while Americans are like more less lenient, and they want to be paid like a specific amount and like more than most countries.
Yeah, see, like our capabilities will be fine. It's just prices will rise a little bit. But in the case of war, I guess prices don't really matter as much. You know what I mean? As democracy should.
Mhm.
See, like that's what I'm saying. America will be fine without China. We don't need China, and if anything, China needs us.
Yeah, because we are helping them out a lot because of the American companies and how much the employment weight is there. Even though it is lower than America, but they're still like they have a ton of employees there, and because of the fact that American companies are working there, like a ton of American companies are working there that produce just like massive products there because of how low like they're able to work for.
Yeah, and I'd like to touch on like a little subject real quick that kind of relates with the economy and all this tension. That notice how when America allies with the country, does economic business with them, that country becomes an economic power. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So most of the reason that the countries like if you look at the economic global leaderboard, most of these countries are allied with Russia. I mean, not with Russia or America, or they do business with America. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the
because.
only
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it shows that if a country were to do like trade, business, or anything along those lines with U.S., they get a massive like head start basically with what their economy is doing. Like it'll increase rapidly because of the fact that American companies will maybe start working there, just like happened with China. More trade will be happening, so their economy will grow obviously, and they'll be making like a lot of money overall. And yeah, it's
Well,
a
part of the
win-win thing.
reason this is though, is because like so a lot of countries in Europe, they're still capitalist, but they've introduced like socialist, like not communist or fascist by any way, but like socialist reforms, you know what I mean? Like free healthcare or stuff like that. And
Hmm.
that's great and all, but the reason we're number one is because we're capitalist, nothing but capitalist, no socialism involved anywhere. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's why we're at the top.
Yeah, we are a pure capitalist country, and that's why when we decide to like trade with a country and like start to doing business with them because of the fact that we're capitalists and our economy's so good, their economy rises with us, and like if they start to work with us, you know.
Yeah, like, and whatever your opinion on socialism is, like, if you see it as an extreme, where you see it as it could help people, I wouldn't say it hurts your economy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that at all. It slows it. I would say, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
pure capitalism, like America, we have no socialist reforms anywhere,
Hmm.
and we're the number one, and we stayed number one since World War II. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And that shows that like we're able to do so much in the trade and business aspect of it, which is why like a main factor about how like Russia was able to their economy like went down so much is because of how much stuff US stopped doing with Russia. Like they stopped doing many trades other than oil. Obviously, we talked about that. But yeah, that shows how big of US is in the economy aspect of it because like any country or whatever, it rises with us if they help us and we help them, but it decreases rapidly if we stop helping them, you know, or stop
Yeah,
working with
and
us.
I have to touch on because
Wait, repeat what you just said. Repeat what you just
market.
said. Sorry.
Hmm?
Repeat what you just
Oh,
said.
sorry.
Sorry.
So America, we're number one because we don't rely on just one market or economic factor. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like we buy from every single part of everything. You know what I mean? We buy oil, we buy like example toys, drinks, food. We buy literally everything. You know what I mean? And then Russia, like some other countries, like the ones that are like number two or number three, they only rely on mainly one market. You know what I mean? Like Russia's oil, and Japan is technology, like purely technological factor. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
And they're great economies, but America brought like has multiple horizons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like because of the fact that U.S. is able to, because we have so many strong relationships with so many different countries around the world, we're able to get so many things from them. Like oil is a big one, or like all around the world. We try to trade oil with all around the world with many different countries, which it makes us like. That's why we were able to like cut off a lot of things from Russia, other than oil. Obviously, we talked about that, but that's why we are able to cut a
Hmm.
lot of things because we have other countries all around the world that we're able to like do business with an economy.
Yeah, see with the gas prices too, going back to the gas prices, like although they're rising, I think America will be fine because we'll find our foothold and we'll find somebody else to do oil with, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
America, we don't rely on anybody else other than maybe oil if you want to argue with that, but we can buy it from other people.
Yeah.
And this might even increase the fact that maybe we need energy like energy powered cars and solar and other that. It might even push us over the edge for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shows like we're able to like cut off a ton of things because of the fact that we always have another strong relationship with somebody else that we're able to do business with. And if
Mm.
we need to stop some sort of trade with somebody, then we just go to a different country and do start doing trade and business with them. Which like that's because it shows how big we are because we're able to that's because we're so big we're able to do always be able to do business with countries all around the world in many different ways and many different aspects.
Well, I see it almost as a if America wants to do business with you, I see it as like a privilege. You know what I mean? Because as soon as America signs it, you know what I mean. Your economy will rise
Mm-hmm.
significantly because American money just pours in from everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is that our economy is so strong. Everybody measures everything in USD as well.
Yeah, like
Like,
we're
look in
we're
that factor.
yeah, we're a big relying factor on like how if our economy is doing good, then if we're with a lot of countries, and we're like doing trade with them and everything, their economy will also like grow with us. But if our economy starts doing bad and like something starts to happen, most of the time, their economies will also start to doing bad because of the fact that like with trade and everything, if we're not able to do it, then they'll have to stop and they won't be doing good just like us.
I'd like to even suggest this is kind of crazy, but I could even suggest this that America is almost like the global economy as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're like a we're over like 50%. I say like almost every economy can combine, and I think America would still be on top for
Uh,
best economy.
Yeah, like you said before, like the USD, everything measures in USD because of how big our economy is. Because like our dollars are like a big just like basically just line
Well, it's
at
like a
where it is all the time.
default. Our
Yeah,
economy is so good. USD is the default for
exactly.
everything.
That's a perfect way to put it. Like as the default, like that's what people have to measure it in most of the time because of the fact that we're
Mhm.
such a big
And
relying
most
factor in the
companies do
economy.
business with America, so they just measure it in USD anyway, because that's what they're getting.
Exactly. Because like whatever business they do, they have to measure it in USD because of the fact that well, they're trading with the US and most of the countries around the world are trading with the US, so they
Hmm.
measure it in USD to just and that just shows how big the economy is in the US.
Well, yeah, and then like I said, like America's economy can almost be anybody else's. And then like if you look at it from a military factor too, like our economy is so good, we're allowed we are able to have a strong military overall. Like our military budget's the highest in the world. Our military budget is higher than most countries' GDP.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. Actually, talking about the U.S. government, yeah, we spend so much money on government. Each and every year that we're able to just have like we do have one of if not the strongest government in the world because of how much we spend on it and like how many soldiers we have that are like are able to just be in the government and military and we have so many things like we have a ton of tanks obviously a big one is nukes that's always it's not if we're not going to use them I'm not saying it's just we have to have them because if somebody like going back to Russia if they use them well then we might have to.
Yeah, so and then even looking at the military factor again, we don't have the most troops in the
Wait,
world,
explain
and
what
that
you said again.
concerns them.
Just last sentence, sorry.
I'm saying about military, although we don't have like the most amount of hold on, we don't have the most amount of troops. We oh, what was I gonna say? I lost it.
All of our other military aspects are able to like we have a ton of
No,
all other
so we no no
military
no. So
aspects.
even though we don't have a lot of like troops, uh, we use the technological factor for everything. You know what I mean? Like
Like our technology is massive.
tour across the seas with our drones and our jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, our technology aspect like we have yeah, like you said about jets, we have like very technological jets that are like advanced in like basically every way. And like another one is tanks, just we're able to just advance many ways in all aspects in our military,
The only
which
one who can compare in advancements in technology is Japan.
yeah,
That's
I
like the
think
only
I think
country.
two are Japan and South Korea actually, because they
Yeah,
both
and
have
those are
massive
because they
technology.
rely on that market factor entirely.
Like if you go to Japan, you'll find out like that um
Their
like
lives are very efficient.
yeah they like make sure everything's efficient and like everything's advanced technologically, and that like also with South Korea like they have everything that like they're very advanced, their lives are efficient in basically every way, and they always have something to like help them with technology and everything, and like that's why their economy is so good because technology is obviously a big thing in the world right now because of how fast like the world is advancing, just like humankind, and we are advancing with technology so much, and that's why South Korea's economy and Japan's economy is doing so good because of the fact that their main thing is technology.
Yeah, so and then like I think we're running out of time here, but like still we have like a little bit of time left.
Yeah, just a bit.
But like I was saying that America's technology is so good like compared to like Russia. Let's look at Russia. They're still using Soviet Union jets.
Mhm.
Like some of them are still using Soviet Union jets, while our country just you know the F-22, the jet, the
N-
F-22 Raptor.
nope.
We just out oh, so it's like a really good jet. It's like
Advanced, yeah.
yeah, it's really advanced, and we just outdated that.
Yeah,
We
because
just outdated that.
like Russia's technology is like a main thing why they don't have air superiority in like all of Ukraine is because of the fact that like they're not technologically advanced, they don't have many technologies that are able to compete with things like the US
Hmm.
technology. Like the US is always with their military mostly is always like going one step above just to make their technology one step better over and over and over again, and because we have such strong relationships with like I've already said South Korea and Japan, their technologies are so big that we're able to have good relationship with them. We're always able to advance like with them basically, while Russia is basically just kind of by themselves with the fact that like you said they're still using like jets and military things from all the way back
Soviet
to
Union.
huh
Yeah, from the
yeah
Soviet
yeah
Union.
exactly they're not able to advance anymore with their technology, like they're still using things from the Soviet Union, which is outdated by a ton.
I know, like their tanks, the T-72 that they're using now, it's from the 80s, from the Soviet era.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's 40 years ago. That's so outdated with the world today that like they're just not able to compete with anybody because of the fact that their technology is so outdated. Like the 1980s is crazy. They're still
Yeah, and
using
I
the technology
understand
from
that
that.
some people might say that the tank we're using, the M1 Abrams, is from the 80s. Yeah, but we're constantly making upgrades, and right now we're actually testing new tanks and artillery systems
Yeah,
as
well,
of now.
yeah, we're always advancing with everything. Like yeah, like tanks like you just said and like jets and everything. They're always advancing while yeah, Russia's not able to do anything because they don't have any connections with well, they don't have like big connections, strong connections with anything like like Japan or
Well,
South
they have
Korea.
strong connections with China, but like I said, that's just America in there half the time. So
Yeah, because yeah, America's a big relying factor of how um China is like
run
ha
and
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
economy is.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're a big relying factor of like if their economy goes down or up. Well, yeah, that's really the only like sort of connection that Russia has with anybody. That's why they're not able to like advance technologically because yeah, US isn't doing anything with Russia right now because of the fact that the war and South Korea, I don't think that South Korea or Japan has like any sort of connection with them either.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing also, like your Germany is also advanced in military wise, like their special forces. Um and they have the best tank in the world,
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah.
Germany, the Leopard 2A7.
Yeah.
The like heavily armored best cannon system in the world, but they're not allies with Russia, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
Not even
allies,
close.
which is why that when they started like helping Ukraine with like sending weapons and whatever they're doing to help Ukraine, it helped a lot because of the fact that they are advanced in their military wise and they're able to help a ton, which is why it's good that they're allied with Ukraine and not Russia. You know?
Yeah, and then to say, and Germany is technologically advanced from like, and from the 90s, they were using T-72s from the Soviet Union, at least from East Germany they were. And when Germany, like when they reunited, like now they have the strongest tank in the world. You know what I mean? They're not using the T-72 anymore from Russia.
Yeah.
And Russia's still using it as of now.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's like they need to like in order to do anything with like their economy or anything, they need to advance, which they're not doing at all. Which is good in this which in this time right now because of the fact that they're taking over Ukraine. We don't want them to advance because if they do, like I said before, like if they take over Ukraine, then no domino effect will happen. And if they get some sort of technology that'll help them. They'll try to like speed up like war and whatever, and try to like reunite what the Soviet Union once was. You know.
Yeah, and then I just like to add one more thing before we like close this.
Hmm.
Is that Russia can't even afford to advance anymore with their
Yeah,
economy.
their economy went down so much they're not able to advance technologically with anything because like you said before like a Russian dollar is less than a US penny. It's just their economy's
Yeah, a Clash
terrible.
Royale gem is worth more, like I said.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not able to do anything because of the fact that they're just not advanced, you
They're
know?
just yeah, they're just not it
They're just there, and
at
because of
all.
the fact that this war, then I don't think like in the near future, like years to pass, like in the future, like their economy will keep on going down if this war continues, and they won't be able to have any trade or like any relationships with like big technology companies like South Korea, Japan, and even us. Like we're a big relying factor
Yeah.
in how technology is and advancing because of the fact that like you said, we're in China and like American companies are there and like helping at all times.
Yeah. And then this is my final closing statement here to like get this closed.
Hmm.
I just like to say America has nothing to worry about. Not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, not right now at least. Yeah, we're doing America's doing fine right now because Russia is just they're fighting Ukraine, which is like not good, and but we're fine because of the fact that we're pretty far from Russia actually. The closest thing to Russia is Alaska, and that's overseas. So,
Yeah.
so if anything, yeah, we're fine.
That's next to Canada almost.
Yeah, exactly. Which is we're doing fine right now. U.S. is doing fine, especially like I believe if Russia will try to do anything against the U.S., we'll be fine because of how like advanced technologically we are, and everything like that, which is good. We need to be advanced in
Yeah.
order to be ready for
So
war.
any closing statement to
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really it. Just the economy is doing terrible in Russia, but the U.S. will be fine. And I hope this war ends with Ukraine, hopefully
Mhm.
being on top with like everybody helping them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope. But yeah, Russia's not really doing anything. We're not able to do
Yeah.
anything, but hopefully Ukraine's able to keep on holding off.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. You have any closing statements?
No.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it for the Talk Hour podcast, everybody. We touched on a little touchy subject today. You know, it is war, so it is obviously going to be touchy to some people, sensitive, But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the Talk Hour podcast. I hope I did enjoy it. I hope Pancake also did. Um,
Uh-huh. Thanks for having me.
of course, of course. And obviously, we're going to be the two people running this podcast. So yeah,
But we'll have guests
uh-huh.
soon,
Yeah, we'll,
hopefully.
we'll have guests hopefully. That'll be cool. And make sure you put in the comments if you want to see like what if you want us to talk about anything. And yeah, make sure to just subscribe. Comment about if you want to just talk about anything. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching the Talk Hour podcast and goodbye everyone.